So I'd say for probably about a year, my mom would just, you know, talk about pickleball and passing, and it was always just kind of a in one ear out the other thing. I'm like,
Right.
sounds lame, seems,
Old people sport, right?
yeah, I really didn't even know what it was. I couldn't even visualize it. Yeah, I'll just give it a shot. I'll see what it's about. And I mean, it was like flipping a switch. Like I played, and I don't think since that day, have been pretty much, oh yeah, got pretty addicted and started playing all the time and trying to, it seems like that's a trait of pickleball players. It's like, I don't know very many just like casually play like once or twice a month, it's like,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
At most.
No, I think it's really rare. I think there's not a lot of other sports that are like that. I don't know whether it's just the people being addicted to it, or the social aspect, or the fact that physically it is possible to play more often or longer periods of time. But
So let's talk about the Mesa Open. Looks like you stirred up the pot there, getting gold. That was great. I watched that match.
I beat Jay Devier in the quarters.
Right, close three-setter, right?
Close three-setter. Then I beat JW in straight sets in the semis.
Yep.
Played Zane in the main draw final and lost in straights.
Yep, 11-4, 11-4. Yeah, he got you pretty good.
Yeah, he played well.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of the day, so we didn't play. It was a medal match Sunday, so that was Thursday. That day was over. So then come back at 8 a.m. on Sunday and play the bronze medal match against JW. JW had worked through the back draw.
Again, right.
I don't know, maybe just caught him a little sleepy or something in the morning, but I just kind of came out real hot.
Yeah,
and
11-7,
yeah, just kind of like got on him early. And so played well, got through that one. And then, you saw what happened against Zane, but we had a pretty epic battle. So
that was great. That was a great battle. That was a great battle to watch. Yeah. Very exciting. Did you change your game?
If or whatever.
That week, did something click? Did you change something against him? Because you probably played him how many times?
No, I didn't change anything. Really, the only thing mainly that was different is in the last couple of months, I've been working with basically a sports psychologist, kind of a mental coach. It's actually somebody that I was giving pickleball lessons to, and then I found out that she's a psychology professor at Northern Illinois. I play with the new Pursuit MX 6.0. So it's the Pursuit, the black face one with the kind of graphite face.
Yep.
And then the MX is the long handle.
Yep.
And then the 6.0 is the thicker core. I put about half an ounce on each side like this. And then I put about an ounce and a half in the handle. A lot of my weight is in the handle.
In the handle? Interesting. I talked to Eden Licka just the other day. I think you're playing with him, right? At the Delray?
I am, yeah. We're playing Delray together, which I'm pumped about. I think it'll be fun.
Welcome to Pickleball is Life. If you like these videos, all I ask is that you please press the red subscribe button on the bottom right. It won't cost you anything. Announcing the Avalon Open Pickleball Tournament, Friday, May 20th through Sunday, May 22nd. Register online at pickleballtournaments.com. Also announcing the 2022 Beach Summer League. Register online with Pickleball Den. Links are in the description.
Hi, John. Thanks
How's
for
it
doing
going?
the interview.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
Cool. So you're a professional pickleball player, eh?
Yeah. I guess that that term is broad right now, but yeah, I guess you could say that.
I'm curious, what do you think, what percentage of the pro players you play with and against are doing it full-time as a living versus part-time with another full-time job? And where do you fit? Where do you fit in that?
Well, it depends on how you define it. So if you consider full-time, I think the majority of players that are full-time are also teaching. You know,
Teaching.
they're playing as well as teaching to kind of fill out that you know, that income.
Right.
So I'd say there's very, very few who are strictly just playing professional tournaments without any teaching to kind of like add to that. So I'd say of like, you know, the pros that you see week in, week out, I'd say probably 75% are either just playing or playing teaching versus maybe like 25% have some sort of other full-time job, you know, like an Andrea Coop, who's a lawyer, or, you know, someone like that who's got another full-time job outside of pickleball.
Got it. So you grew up in Illinois?
Yeah, I grew up in the Quad Cities. It is right on the border of Iowa and Illinois. So 2 cities in Iowa, 2 cities in Illinois. I grew up on the Illinois side of that. And yeah, my whole family still lives there, so I still visit there quite often. It's a couple hours from where I'm at in Chicago area, so we get back there quite a bit and visit family and stuff.
Cool. And let's see, you went to high school at, what is it, Alleman High School?
It's called Alleman High School.
Alleman High School?
Yeah, it's just a private Catholic school in the Quad City area. So pretty small school, but we were a good athletic school, and so I played basketball and tennis in high school. So
That's where you started tennis?
Yep.
And then you played tennis in Division I in college, right? University of Illinois?
Illinois, Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of a difference there. I wish I played at Illinois, but yeah.
Illinois is like the Chicago branch.
Yeah, Illinois is a perennial like top 5 D1 school. You know,
Right.
Some of the best players in the country play there. I played at UIC. We were still a D1, you know, still a good school, but a little bit different brand of tennis than at U of I. So yeah, I played actually played 2 years of junior college tennis before that in Kansas City, and then transferred and played my last 2 years at UIC in Chicago.
And did you ever think of like just staying with tennis and trying to go into the pro circuit?
Yeah, I did. I played about after I graduated, I played maybe 6 months of like
Competitive.
Yeah, what they call like futures tournaments. You know, it's kind of like the entry level for trying to kind of get into the pros where you get points.
Right.
So I played a couple of months of those. I played, you know, maybe like an extended summer. But my last year in college, I started teaching tennis. So
Transition.
I'd say dabbled in playing, but I was kind of more focused by that point on just kind of going more full time into the teaching.
Do you work out of like a tennis club? Do you teach out of a tennis club, a particular one?
So for about 10, 12 years, I've worked at a club called Crystal Lake Racket Club, teaching tennis. And that was my pretty much full-time gig for that whole time. And then I'd say about 2 years ago, I started making the transition to teaching more pickleball.
Oh.
You know, and then about a year and a half ago, my mother-in-law, who's an avid pickleball player, and myself went in on building an indoor court together.
Wow.
And so I had an indoor space that I was basically teaching. I transitioned to teaching full-time pickleball out of that court. And kind of during that time, kind of just gradually moved away from teaching any tennis. So, and then when the last about 2 months here, I just recently took a position at a place called Lake Geneva Tennis, where I was hired as the director of pickleball, because they're kind of ramping up
Pickleball
pretty much a pickleball program, and going to be building a new facility with courts and stuff. So So yeah,
That's
that's my
sort
kind
of
of,
your full-time gig then right now, right?
yep, which is where I'm at right now.
And
So
they give you the freedom to go and play pretty regularly.
yeah, it was, one of the owners is very involved in the pickleball program here. He's the one who kind of got things off the ground before they brought me in, and he's around all the time. So kind of when they hired me, I told them I was still
Playing.
actively playing and wanted to play and wanted to stay relevant, and they all, they wanted that for me because it's,
Oh yeah,
it
good
looks good for the
notoriety.
club as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So so I'm able to leave and do my thing, and they're able to kind of hold things down and keep it moving forward here. So it's been good.
So what's the backstory? How did you find pickleball? Was it your mom, did you say?
Yeah. Um, so I'd say for probably about a year, and this was in like 2017, 2018, my mom would just, talk about pickleball in passing, and her and my dad played a little tennis, but they just kind of brought up pickleball and talked about it, and it was always just kind of a in one ear out the other thing. I'm like,
Right.
sounds lame, seems,
Old people sport, right?
yeah, I really didn't even know what it was. I couldn't even visualize it. And then
Right.
in like the spring of 2018, I was back visiting my family, and there was kind of nothing going on. My mom was going to play, and I
Try
was
it out.
just like, yeah, I'll just give it a shot. I'll see what it's about. And I mean, it was like flipping a switch. Like I played, and I don't think since that day, have been
Really?
pretty much, oh yeah. Like I remember leaving that day and like getting information from one of the guys I played with there about who were some of the top players in Chicago, and immediately kind of calling them and, trying to get in their groups. And, so it was like I immediately was trying to, got pretty addicted and started playing all the time and trying to, so just from that time, it was setting goals of, I'm going to try to be the best player in the area, the best player in Chicago, and, and just trying
Right.
to improve. And so
I remember my first time, like a wiffle ball, where I'm going to be hitting this plastic ball, because I played tennis for 25, 30 years, and definitely didn't respect it. Heard all this noise at an indoor tennis facility of these people hitting this ball, loud ball next door, and is it what is it, ping pong?
Yeah. So how long have you been playing?
Probably 4, maybe 5 years.
Okay.
Definitely have gone off the deep end and running my first tournament now, and got my YouTube channel. So it's, I go all in with whatever I do. So
yeah. It seems like that's a trait of pickleball players. It's like, I don't know very many just like casually play like once or twice a month. It's like,
right. I play every day.
Yeah, for sure.
I've never played a sport every day.
Right.
Into golf and tennis, and it was maybe 3 times a week at the most.
No, I think it's really rare. I think there's not a lot of other sports that are like that. I don't know whether it's just the people being addicted to it, or the social aspect, or the fact that physically it's, it is possible to play more often or longer periods of time. But, I think there's probably a lot of elements, but
I think if you play at the level maybe that at least you play at, and I definitely I try to play at, it's as much exercise as tennis, and definitely more than golf.
oh yeah.
So it's something else. It's probably the social aspect, I think, just, going out. I love open play and just getting on a court with 3 people I don't know, and, game on.
Yeah, for sure.
The best. That's definitely the best.
Yeah.
So I played both tennis and pickleball for about a year, but I had to give up tennis. Do you still play tennis?
Not really. So I don't teach it anymore.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Did you have a transition?
I don't have anything against it, but I'm just kind of the mentality now that, like, I'm pretty serious about, I'm taking this whole like
Right.
professional player thing pretty seriously. So, I've got a wife and 2 kids, and I value my time. So it's like, if I've got extra amount of time, I want to spend that trying to better myself as a pickleball player. So me going and hitting a tennis ball around, it's just kind of like, doesn't make sense for me at this point. I would play tennis. I enjoy it still. So, I mean, like here and there, I may just like casually pick up a racket and hit a few balls, but
I just haven't played. I mean, I played for 30 years with the same, 12 guys. They all think I'm nuts. I've left the sport, and I just don't know what.
I will say this though. I played in a my old club put this pro-am event on last weekend, and I was in it. So pro-am tennis event.
Okay.
So I was one of the pros, and even playing tennis, like hardly ever, maybe once a month or so now, my tennis game is as sharp as it's ever been, because I feel like the skills in pickleball cross over. Like my volleys, my hand speed, just my overall just like feel for the ball is still really sharp on a tennis court. People ask me all the time, like, oh, if I play pickleball, will it ruin my tennis game or ruin? I'm kind of a big believer that like ping pong, tennis, all these, like, they all enhance. If you get good at one, you're that you get better at all of them, because like you're kind of rounding out your overall skill set, I think.
I think I found I was playing tennis like pickleball.
Oh yeah, I was for sure doing that.
Yeah,
I was hitting all these like like drops and short stuff, and like which is actually great. Which is great in a pro-am, because you're a lot of times you're looking for a customer friendly points, and like so dropping massive serves and forehands is not what you want to do in a pro-am anyway. But it worked out.
Right. Cool. Let's move on. So your sponsors are Engage, I guess. Is that your main sponsor?
Engage, yeah, that's my paddle sponsor. Yep. Cool. I've pretty much been with them since the beginning.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think that was like one of the first paddles I picked up, and
yeah, I love the products.
I did pretty well in my first couple tournaments, and then kind of connected with them, and they offered me, at that time, pretty much just like a kind of a free paddles and stuff kind of sponsorship deal. And then
what do you play with now?
I play with the new Pursuit MX 6.0. So it's the Pursuit, the black face one with the kind of graphite face.
Yep.
And then the MX is the long handle.
Yep.
And then the 6.0 is the thicker core.
Oh wow.
So it's thick core, long handle, gritty face. That's kind of my go-to style of paddle.
Do you put any weight leads on it?
Yes, I do. I put quite a bit. I put my paddle's just over 10 ounces total. I put about half an ounce on each side like this. And then I put about 1.5 ounces in the handle. So a lot of my weight is in the handle.
In the handle. Interesting. With
so I add about 2 ounces total, and I'd say, a quarter of it is up here and 3/4 of it is in the handle.
So underneath the grip?
Yep.
Interesting. Same type of tape, or lead tape, or?
Yeah, lead tape.
Yeah.
So basically, if you look at like most paddles that are like a 2-piece with the core and the face, like, where the handle is, there's like a little channel that kind of runs in between the 2 pieces of the grip.
Right.
And the lead tape kind of like push it right in there.
Oh, cool.
So it kind of fits in that channel. So there's just strips of it that run like vertical down the side of that channel like that. So
is there any issue with weight in regulation competitive pickleball? I don't think there is, right?
No.
It's really just the surface.
No, I don't think so.
It's the surface they're worried about, right?
Yeah, I know. I think I've heard of, or I know of a couple of guys that have paddles up in like the 12-ounce range, like a tennis racket, So I don't think there's any I don't think there's any regulation on how heavy it could be, or light for that matter. But yeah, obviously the surface is
Yeah,
pretty strictly regulated.
right.
So,
I think the refs look at feel the surface and then look that it's got an approval.
correct.
Right. That's all.
Correct. Yep.
Is there? I don't know if you know this, but I've been wondering this. We just talked about this with some of my friends. Is the paddle dimensions? Is it the overall surface area that is the limiting factor?
No, it's basically height plus width, right? So a paddle can only be 24 inches in total length and width.
Okay.
So like if you see like a 16-inch long paddle will be wider because it can be 8 inches wide.
Right.
If you go up to 16 and a half, if it gets longer, it has to get narrower.
Got it.
So that's why like those old like blade style paddles you'd see that are always longer, they have to be narrower because you can only be 24 inches total.
Got it.
So my kind of go-to is I like the 16 and a half by 7.5. That seems to be the really popular kind of combo
dimension
of length. Yeah.
That's the standard. That's the standard paddle size, right? Not the elongated or fat one, right?
No, that's actually longer. I think standard would be a 16 by 8.
Okay.
But like, for example, like the long handle, like the Ben Johns paddle is the longer handle,
yeah, there's no limit on the handle size, right?
Correct. It's just part of the overall, it's part of the overall length.
Oh, it is part of the overall length.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So when I say this is 16 and a half, it's 16 and a half from here to here.
Okay.
So you could technically have a longer handle, but there's a certain point that we're like,
right.
Why would you need a longer handle? Typically you only need enough space to get two hands on, and then like beyond that, you want more paddle area.
Do you have other sponsors you want to shout out to?
I have Kitsch Pickleball is my clothing sponsor.
Yep.
So yeah, they do a great job. I just think I got hooked up with them initially through Cassandra Perky, who was my mixed partner for a lot of events last year. She was with Kitsch and kind of recommended them, and I liked a lot of their just kind of style of their brand and stuff.
Cool.
So then I talked to them and got kind of hooked up, and that's been a good experience. I like their stuff and they do a good job. And so, yeah. So
I remember I was a two-handed backhand tennis player, and like the first week I started playing pickleball, they said, you got to get rid of that. My friend said, and I did, and I've got a great one-handed backhand now, but over time, I've realized all the best players have two-handed backhands, and I can't get it back. I've transitioned,
Yeah, I'd say even the good two-handers are outside of Riley Newman. It's still a situational shot, right? It's still, if you look at almost anybody, at least top like male player that uses a two-hander, they also have a one-hander.
Right.
So like maybe volley with a one-hander, dink, whatever. The two-hander is for more specific like drives, or if I want to dip a topspin shot or something. I'd say Riley's the only one that basically does two hands across the board for every shot, every backhand shot that he hits.
Right. Were you a two-handed tennis player?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kept it?
Yep. Yeah, it took a little bit for me to. Weird because my backhand in tennis was one of my best shots. My two-hander had a very good two-handed backhand in tennis, but it did not adapt to pickleball. Like probably the first year or two that I was trying to do it, it felt very awkward. I couldn't figure it out. So it took some practice for me to get my two-hander good in pickleball, because it just didn't seem to translate one-to-one from tennis to pickleball.
I think my first paddle didn't have a long handle, so it didn't work for me,
Yeah, you definitely need the longer handle, otherwise, there's not a lot of room to work with. So
I saw you play left-handed against Webby. That's pretty cool. What was that like? Did you know you had to play left-handed going in to that?
Yeah. That was like, we were basically thinking of ways to make it like, hopefully like a fair, close match.
Okay.
And I'd say anybody, that hits a two-handed backhand has a pretty like,
a little bit.
your left hand has some decent feel, because when you're playing with two hands, your left hand is doing a lot of the work. So even now when I play, like if I'm stretched or something, I'll drop my right hand off the paddle and just hit a left-handed shot, even in like a
really?
match or, yeah.
Not too many pros do that. Do they?
No, not many.
Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah.
I
see it in casual play. A lot of people do it, but
I'm not technically switching hands because my left hand's already on the paddle anyway. I'm just dropping my right hand off to get a little more extension or whatever. So I've got a pretty decent comfort level with my left. Then a lot of times when I was teaching tennis, just for fun, like I would play left-handed against some of my students or something, because I'd make little bets that I could beat them left-handed or they couldn't, whatever. So for some reason, I've just had a decent amount of experience playing left-handed. I've just toyed with it a lot. So
got it.
A little bit of a comfort level there.
I talked to Eden Lecca just the other day. I think you're playing with him, right, at the Delray?
I am, yeah. We're playing Delray together, which I'm pumped about. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm in that tournament, so I'll see you there.
Okay, nice.
He gave you, I think, one of the best compliments. He said let's see, at the Atlanta tournament, he said in the third set, I think he was up 3-1, or you had him 3-1, and he hit a shot down the line. You called it out, and I think he signaled to you that he thought it was in, and you gave him the point, no questions asked. He said, John's a real gentleman.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually remember that situation. I remember that match exactly. Yeah, we had a pretty good battle. It was in Atlanta, kind of one of the side courts. And yeah, I mean, I know him, and I know he's, I've had experiences with him before, and I know he's an honest line caller as well. And I just felt like it was one of those where he hit it down the line. He's looking straight down the line. I was looking across the court, and I called it out. I thought it was out initially. And, he said, basically, I thought I got it, or I thought I was in. And I'm like, like I said, I trust him. He's got a better view of it. And so if he, I was going to argue it over it at that point. So I think that happens, more than you'd think. Zane's talked about this before. We've all like the pool of pro players is not that big, right? And we got to see these guys tournament after tournament over. It's like you don't want to become the guy that's getting the arguments and making bad line calls and So I know Eden, and I know he's a good dude, and if so it's just one of those things that if he says that, I'm going to trust that he's being honest about that. And so
right. He's a big dude, isn't he, man? I remember seeing him for the first time. I'm thinking,
that's a factor as well. Is I'm not getting in fights with him for sure.
But he's like a little teddy bear. He's so nice.
Yeah, he is for sure.
So let's talk about the Mesa Open. Looks like you stirred up the pot there, getting gold. That was great. I watched that match. But even before the crazy final, you played everybody in that match. Jay, you played JW, you played Zane. You lost to Zane in the early rounds, right?
I beat Jay Devier in the quarters.
Right. Close 3-setter, right?
Close 3-setter. Then I beat JW in straight sets in the semis.
Yep.
Played Zane in the main draw final and lost in straights.
Yep, 11-4, 11-4. Yeah, he got you pretty good.
Yeah, he played well.
Yeah.
And then that was the end of the day. So we didn't play. It was a medal match Sunday. So that was Thursday. That day was over. So then come back at 8 a.m. on Sunday and play the bronze medal match against JW. JW had worked through the back draw.
Again, right.
I don't know, maybe just caught him a little sleepy or something in the morning, but I just kind of came out real hot.
Yeah,
And
11-4, 11-7. Yeah.
yeah, just kind of like got on him early. And so played well, got through that one. And then, yeah, you saw it happen against Zane, but we had a pretty epic battle. So
That was great. That was a great battle. That was a great battle to watch.
yeah,
Very exciting. And I sort of felt like Zane should have called a few timeouts. He just didn't, he just kept going, thinking he could get you back, I guess. I don't know. Did you feel that?
Yeah. Maybe it's a situation where, he's beaten me in the past tournaments before. So it's one of those things where maybe he just, kind of expecting like, okay, well, it's fine. Eventually the tide, I've beat him before. I'm going to beat him again. Eventually the tide's going to turn my way, and just kind of expecting,
Right.
But I felt like I was in a pretty good mental space that day. I was taking my timeouts well. I was
Yep. You
focused,
did.
and I was just.
You played it perfect. You played it perfect. I felt like Zane was what I would have definitely called timeout, at least multiple,
Yeah.
in some of the games.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't even remember that. I feel like I was so locked in on what I was trying to do that I wasn't even really paying attention to.
Did you change your game
if or whatever
that week? Did something click? Did you change something against him? Because you probably have played him how many times?
No, I didn't change anything really. The only thing mainly that was different is in the last couple of months I've been working with a basically a sports psychologist, kind of a mental coach. It's actually somebody that I was giving pickleball lessons to, and then I found out that she's a psychology professor at Northern Illinois. And then so it was just kind of like I asked her, does she work with athletes? And she's like, yeah, she's done some work with athletes and pro athletes and stuff. And so then it just kind of one thing led to another. And so we kind of agreed that I was gonna help her with her pickleball, and she was gonna help me with this endeavor. And
I
it was
noticed
great,
in all
so.
the timeouts and the breaks, you sat down and you were like zenning. I mean, you were really concentrating. It was interesting.
Yeah. And that's part of
Is
what
that
we'd
what you were
worked on,
doing?
is just basically using breathing to kind of recenter, refocus, get back into, just the present, kind of try to not think about what are possible outcomes, or, but just play what's in front of you, play the point, and, so.
So that behavior, that, focus is new for you?
I'd say so. I'd say being,
because it was really
I'd say
obvious. I was watching the video, and you were just it was interesting to just see how you were really focusing.
Yeah, I'd say being that intentional about it was new.
Got it.
There are things that I've kind of like had an idea about. Of obviously you hear like mental toughness and focus and stay focused, but it's like some of those things, unless you really know the processes and where it's like a skill, unless you're working on that skill or adamant about it, then it doesn't just happen on its own. So,
right.
Something that I actively decided I was going to pursue a little bit more.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, it worked. Definitely worked. Great.
Yeah, I would definitely have to say that, probably without that, I don't know that I get over the hump and win that match. I think I maybe fall into some old bad habits and just like, so.
Well, the last game to 15 was domination. 15-5. That was quite impressive.
Yeah, I think the last hurdle for me was, in game 3, Zane got up to a 7-2 lead.
Yeah,
right.
early.
And it's kind of easy to, at that point, to say, oh, here we go again. You know, Zane's going to kind of do his thing. He's going to win like he normally does. And
Yeah, after
you know,
beating you 6-11, right, in the second game.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think for me, I think from 2-7, I'm pretty sure I went on a 7-point run in one serve. So I went from 2-7 down to 9-7 up in one serve.
Right.
And that
Which
was
is
kind of
unheard
like,
of in singles.
I think a little bit of an awakening of like, for him especially, of like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't just like, you know. And so that game ended up going back and forth, I think, to like 14-12 or something. Zane had a match point at 10-9. I had multiple game points, went back and forth.
Right. It's some great
and then I think once
shots.
I was able to,
your passing shots were just phenomenal. Like, I don't know
Thank
whether
you.
they were
Yeah.
on the line, but they were close to the
yeah. Well, you kind of have to with him. He covers the court so well that it's like,
right. So do you.
You gotta
You're big,
play it pretty tight.
what's your
Yeah.
wingspan? You've got pretty good reach.
I mean, I'm 6'2" as far as height, so I don't know, probably, you know, average 6'2" wingspan, I guess, whatever that is. So,
Right. Right.
mhm.
Yeah, I don't know why Zane in that run in the third, he didn't call a timeout, I don't think.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 15-5, the last game, he might have called one, but still, you were really dominating. He needed to.
Yeah, I think we switched sides at 8-0 or 8-1. Like I
Right.
got up really quick, you
Yep.
know. So,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so cool. So
Thank you.
at that tournament, you also played mixed,
Yeah.
played with Joy.
yeah.
That's right.
Yes. Yep.
Right. But you lost to Lee and JW.
Yeah, we actually had a really good match with them. I think it was like 9-9 or 9-8 or something like
Yeah,
that.
12-10 and 11-7. Yeah, pretty close.
11. Okay, yeah. I knew it was tight. But yeah, I felt really good in that match. I thought we played well, and you know, it's just one of those couldn't quite get over the hump things, but felt like it was a good competitive match, you know, against them. So
You seem to play with a lot of different mixed players and also men.
Mhm.
What's your philosophy on partnering?
You know, I think I'm at that point where I'm still trying to, like, you know, everyone's still trying to get, like, you know, find that partner and also find kind of like top tier partners. And, you know, so still definitely working through the whole partner situation. I played recently in Boca with Johnny Goldberg
Mhm.
and really enjoyed that. I like playing with him. I think style wise, it was a real natural fit. And then just personality wise, I had a good time with him. You know, he's pretty laid back and just easy to be around. So I'm playing a few more with him. And then mixed is kind of all over the place. I've played with Martina Coakley a few times. I'm playing a few this year with Megan Charity.
Do you have most of
I think it
your
was.
2022 schedule filled, or do you sort of?
I usually only schedule about, I'd say, 4 to 5 months out.
Okay.
So I've got right now the tournaments that I plan on playing kind of decided through about June. And I'd say I'm probably 75% filled on like having partners for most of those,
Mhm.
you know, but I haven't even really looked at the second half of this year as far as even what I'm going to play yet. So I'm definitely not one of those that plans my entire year and has partners set up like a year ahead of time and all that. I don't, you know, so.
Did you see the announcement of the New York City Open? That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flushing Meadows.
So I've been kind of hearing that as a rumor for a while now that they've been working on that. So I knew that was kind of in the works a little bit. And so yeah, it's good to see that it's actually happening. I think it's going to be another really cool thing
Venue.
to, you know, venue. We've played at Indian Wells, and, you know,
Right.
so we're going to have some really cool spots to to say that we've played at now. So
I
exciting.
assume they're going to get the center court, right? Do you think they'll be able to?
My guess is they'll do like Indian Wells, where we won't actually get the center court.
Okay.
You know,
close to center.
Like Arthur Ashe is like, you know, however, 50,000 people or whatever. Like,
right. We're not getting.
There's really no need. There's no need for us to have that stadium, you know. But usually the second biggest, like in Indian Wells, we didn't have the big stadium, but our center court was their second biggest stadium.
Right, which at
kind of
is huge. You know.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be my assumption, is that one of the kind of second tier stadium courts will be our center court. But I don't know. I haven't heard anything yet. So.
Right. Yeah. Ken Herman's doing, I think, a great job at, you know, getting the venues for at least the APP tour.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Do you play in both tour tournaments? PPA and
I do. I'm probably 75-25, 75% APP and 25% PPAs, roughly.
For no real reason, or just, you know, scheduling?
I guess initially the main reason was, you know, Ken and Dana, who started the APP pretty much, I used to work for Dana. I've known Dana for 15 years. I knew Ken when I started playing pickleball. They're from the Chicago area.
Okay.
So
nice.
I just got kind of a natural allegiance to them because I know them pretty well and they're from the area. So I just kind of tend to lean that way, if all things being equal. So
yeah, Ken's a good guy. I did an interview with him for the Philly Open last year. His first time there. I'm out of Philadelphia, and he brought an amateur tournament to Philadelphia for the first time, which was great. And I'm hopefully going to interview him again. Curious.
Nice.
You know, to hear all about this backstory of how he got Flushing Meadows, which I'm sure was not an easy process.
No, I can't imagine at all. Yeah.
And it's a 3-year contract, which is great. So they have it for 3 years, which is cool.
For sure.
And so it's going to be, so now we have 4 majors, I guess, right? Nationals, the US Open, New York City, and PPA.
Yeah.
Looks like.
I guess which one is considered the PPA major? Do you know? I haven't even paid attention.
I think it's just the PPA championship.
Is it the Las Vegas one? Is that their big one?
I'll have to look that up. One quick last thing. I ask all the players this. Do you have any sort of like pet peeve within pickleball that it's sort of like something you'd like to have changed, either a rule or, you know, some thing at tournaments?
You know, maybe biased a little bit, but I guess I was kind of annoyed by the whole serving thing, the whole serving spinning rules changing.
Did you have a spin serve?
Yeah, I used I used the one-handed spin serve, so technically mine's still legal.
But not in PPA, right?
Correct.
Right.
But I just fall into the camp where I feel like it was a interesting development in the game. It was bringing a lot of like attention, bringing a lot of like interest, especially from younger people, you know, that were like,
they were having fun
trying to spin serve and having fun with it. And I think it just brought a lot of like, I think it was very premature to just immediately say it's not good for the game and get rid of it, you know. But I think that'd be the only thing.
What about the Let's Serve? Is that out in both tours?
APP still plays Let's.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. I think I'm all for playing Let's. I think
really?
yeah, I think it's a rare situation that a ball hits the net
and you can't get it.
Unreturnable.
Got it.
So
right. And there's so many Let's in the game, you know, how that we're constantly having to
we're already dealing with it. If anything, it's easier on a serve because you know it can't hit the net and just dribble over. Like it at least has to hit the net and still make it
to the court.
to the box, right? So
Right.
I think it's really rare that a ball hits the net and becomes completely unreturnable. That, I think it just takes that element out of the game of, like, I guess what they call phantom lets, where, somebody hits really good serve, I don't return it, and I say, oh, I think it clipped the tape, it was a let, we got to redo it.
Right.
So.
Okay, John, I don't want to hold you anymore. Appreciate your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. It was nice talking to you.
Thanks, man.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I want to thank my new sponsor, Selkirk. They make a full line of paddles and gear. They just sent me their new Vanguard 2.0 paddle to review. The review is in the link above. Announcing the Avalon Open Pickleball Tournament, Friday, May 20th through Sunday, May 22nd. Register online at pickleballtournaments.com. The full link is in the video description. Friday will be men's and women's singles, Saturday will be men's and women's doubles, and Sunday will be mixed doubles. There are skill, age, social, and open divisions with prize money. The tournament will be held at the A Street Recreational Center in Avalon, New Jersey. Make a vacation weekend out of it. Come enjoy the Avalon beaches, restaurants, and bars. Also announcing the 2022 Beach Summer League. Register online with Pickleball Den. Links are in the description. The league runs from Memorial Day to Labor Day with a playoff tournament at the end of the season. Join the fun and competitive Pickleball's Life Beach Summer League. We will be using the Pickleball Den app this year to register, see your matches, and record your match results. When registering, go under brackets and you will see the various divisions: men's doubles, women's doubles, mixed doubles, and singles. Another way you can support my channel is to use the Amazon product links I have in the description of the video. There's no cost to you or added cost, or you can go to my Amazon storefront and select a product. And check out my Pickleball Venues Google map. There's a link in the description. And check out my Pickleball Tournaments Google Calendar with all the Mid-Atlantic East Coast tournaments coming up. Hey, if you like this video and want to help support my pickleball channel, we have Pickleball is Life t-shirts available in both V-neck and crew cut, in both dry fit and cotton, with sleeves, sleeveless, and women's racerbacks. I just got in new A4 blocked shirts with stripes down the side. For the fall, I just got in North End women's and men's Radar quarter zip performance long sleeve tops. And I have men's performance shorts available. I also have Pickleball is Life hats and sport towels. You can purchase them from me on the court, online at Etsy, or just Venmo me the money and I'll mail them right out. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, all I ask is that you please subscribe by clicking on the top left and share this video with your friends. If you want to see some other pickleball videos, they're here in the center. My other YouTube channel, Tesla Life, is on the bottom left. Check it out. My Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts are listed on the right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.